It's still really hot outside.
It is, and that's not even our biggest weather problem.
Coming up, we're going to show you a sneak peek into Live Oak Hall, Texas State's newest addition to campus.
We can't wait to see inside there. Plus,
I was really interested in audio and podcasting.
Your new favorite podcast just might be from a fellow Bobcat. Hi everybody, and welcome to the summer's edition of Bobcat Bulletin. I'm Samantha Canizales.
and I'm Michael Kaiser. This has been one of the hottest summers ever in Texas, starting back in June.
And it's not just hot, it's dry. More than 200 Texas counties, that's 4 out of 5, are under a drought. Lily Patino shows us the current state of the Edwards Aquifer.
The San Antonio Pool is under Stage 3 water restrictions, which affects Hays, Atascosa, Bexar, Caldwell, Comal, Guadalupe, and Medina counties. Officials from the Edwards Aquifer Authority see Stage 4 water restrictions that will likely take place by mid to late August. The water levels in the aquifers J17 have dropped by 4.1 feet over the past 10 days. The EAA will enact Stage 4 water restrictions for the San Antonio Pool if the J17 index well falls to 630 feet mean sea level, otherwise known as MSL, over a 10-day period. San Marcos Springs is one of the largest springs in the Edwards Aquifer and 80 cubic feet per second below historic average. However, water reduction restrictions haven't been enacted for the springs, as some people, such as Texas State student Landra, wasn't aware.
I wasn't really aware until I came out to school today and we were looking into the water and it's extremely low.
The city of San Marcos is currently under Stage 2 drought restrictions that went into effect on April 17th after the 10-day average where the Edwards Aquifer fell below 650 feet ms. Rules for Stage 2 drought limits the use of soaker hoses, drip irrigation, and using decorative water features. San Marcos residents James and Nora talk about other ways to conserve water.
I guess at home just like
laundry,
watching our water usage.
Even though the flow of San Marcos is a little higher, Hays County is in the same Stage 3 critical period management restrictions. Therefore, it is best to safely conserve water during these dry times. I'm Lily Patino with Bobcat Bulletin.
Texas isn't the only place struggling with high temperatures.
Avery Olson joins us from our satellite center to show us. Avery?
Sam, Michael, all over Europe, countries have been setting record highs and having to fight record wildfires. As heat sweeps the world in a force predicted to set records, wildfires have taken over Europe. Firefighters have been working incredibly hard to battle fires in countries like France and Spain. The heat wave in Spain has ignited forest fires, causing 237 deaths just in its first week. The Health Institute has warned that the decline has yet to arrive, and these figures are expected to increase as temperatures continue to rise. In France, 14,000 hectares have been burned by fire due to temperature records set to be broken.
We already have 3 times more forest burned than in 2020, and we have both a spring that has been very dry and fires that have spread with force.
15 departments were placed under red alert Monday morning due to high temperatures along the Atlantic coast in France, and 51 other regions across France are under an orange alert. And now there are 2 new fires in Athens, Greece with no relief in sight. The forecast is near 100 degrees with no rain for the next week. Michael and Sam?
Wow, that is scary.
It is. Here in the U.S., there's a new resource for emergencies. It's for people having a mental health crisis.
And as reporter Brian Johnson shows us, you just need to know 3 numbers.
988. These 3 numbers can well become a significant method in curbing the increasing suicide rate in the United States. On July 16th, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, or NSPL, launched the phone number to be available in all 50 states. The new number will direct calls or texts to one of 200 call centers across the nation. The NSPL have long been geared towards de-escalating suicide crises, but with the launch of the 988 number, hope to expand help to those dealing with other mental health predicaments. The United States has seen a rise in suicide rates averaging from 11 per 100,000 in 2000 to 16.1 in 2021. Here in San Marcos and the rest of the Lone Star State, the 988 number can bring a huge impact to those having self-harming or suicidal thoughts. Texas ranks 3rd in NSPL calls in the country, with over 150,000 calls and text messages being directed to the state's 5 crisis centers. I spoke with Janie Myron, a psychology major at Texas State University, to get her insight on what the hotline number can possibly do for those struggling with mental health.
Definitely, because just obviously like 911, it's easier to remember 3 digits versus a whole phone number. And like, if I don't remember that, then I'm going to have to go look it up. Hence, that'll give me more time to question, do I really want to call someone? Do I really need someone, versus taking my own action and not calling, when this is something that's a shortened, easy number, and it sends you to a licensed therapist that can actually give you help. And oftentimes it's just the phone call that people need. 90% of the time, one phone call does it. It's the other 10% that need more care further, which can be helped with the 988 issue.
Brian Johnson, Bobcat News.
That's an important new service. Thanks, Brian. And of course, the Texas State Counseling Center is always available to you. Call 512-245-2208 or visit counseling.txstate.edu.
The U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade last month, ending 50 years of legal abortion across the U.S. 13 states, including Texas, made abortion illegal. Now some women from Mexico are smuggling abortion drugs across the border. A network of 30 organizations in Mexico is leading this push to make the drugs more available. It's common in Mexico for women to transport the drugs to different regions there, but bringing the pills across the border is illegal.
Last week, we gave you a look at a couple of new businesses that just opened on the square, and we hinted at some changes coming to the Mark. This week, I talked to an employee and got more details on what's coming. The Mark is an award-winning and historic nightclub on East San Antonio Street in downtown San Marcos, but July 10th was the last show for a while. The Mark temporarily closed down to refurbish the interior and give the club a new look. I spoke with Ashley Brennan, an employee and longtime patron, about the update and what to expect from the remodel.
So the remodel is happening right now. They're going to do a new paint job. They're going to bring in new furniture for sections. It's really on the low. They don't want to tell anybody any details, but just expect something big.
The Mark first opened its doors 10 years ago, and since its opening, it has hosted many notable artists such as Louis the Child, Lil Uzi Vert, Excision, and even Shaquille O'Neal. The Mark hosts artists of all musical genres, and it also offers a variety of different theme nights like Latin Night, Emo Night, and Whiskey Wednesdays. Cameron Dromer, another employee and patron of the Mark, spoke with me about what we can look forward to after the reopening in September.
We already have like a few artists booked for when we reopen. Right now we have Diaro, Apache, Kaivon. I can't say too much about what to expect, but you'll just have to see in September when we reopen.
Sam, I hear the Mark isn't the only place we're waiting on to open.
That's right, Michael. I'm just bummed I won't get to take classes in Texas State's newest building. Rose Axine gives us a tour of Live Oak Hall.
For 30 years now, the School of Journalism and Mass Communication have been renting studio space in Alkick Library for students to gain hands-on experience in the broadcasting industry. Now, film and mass communication students and faculty have a dedicated area for all things media. Located at the corner of Sesame and Pecos, Live Oak Hall will serve as a step towards the future for the College of Fine Arts and Communication. Live Oak Hall will be a shared studio and workspace that will meet the growing demand of the film concentration and SJMC. We spoke with the Dean of the College of Fine Arts and Communication, Dr. John Fleming, and the Director of the School of Journalism and Mass Communication, Dr. Judy Oscom. Dr. Fleming shares with us in detail how the new building became possible.
Live Oak Hall came about actually through a large growth in the film program out of theater and dance. This actually goes back to Tom Copeland was the longtime head of the Texas Film Commission. Tom joined Texas State, it would be 17 years ago, and Tom always said he wanted to build a film program. And so I was like, well, it's going to take time. And even when I was department chair before I became dean, I go, Tom, we need space, we need equipment, we need faculty. And once we formally created the film degree, the film concentration, the numbers kept going up, and that's when the university recognized going, oh wow, we need space.
Not only does the new building give students the space, this $10 million plus project will be fully equipped with modern technology.
Students will have access to part of an equipment room. We'll have equipment in our part of the Live Oak Hall is going to be the TV studio, the control room. We have 2 media flex rooms in there, and those will be more editing rooms and edit bays, edit booths. In the actual TV studio, we're going to have 2 sets. We're going to have a news and sports set, and then we're going to have sort of a talk set, a talk show set.
Construction at Live Oak Hall will be completed this August and open for student use. However, not until the spring semester will it be fully equipped.
Live Oak Hall will be open in August. We are waiting on our equipment, and it will not be in place by the time the fall semester starts. So our students will be spending the last semester in Alkek in the TV studios, and then in the spring we will start new in the new TV studio.
As the media industry continues to rise, Texas State's Live Oak Hall holds many opportunities for students, faculty, and the community to succeed.
I think there's just a lot of exciting possibilities as we go forward that really, I think, positions students to succeed, because we want you got to get that hands-on experience of doing things.
Texas State is all about next. This is what's next.
For Bobcat Bulletin, I'm Rose Axlin.
Hey Michael, should we drop hints about our next story or just tell everybody?
Let's drop some hints. You know, classes about pop culture are a sign of the times.
That's a pretty sweet hint, not as sweet as watermelon sugar. Not bad. Have you figured it out yet? Our own Texas State digital history professor, Dr. Luis Dean Valencia, will teach Harry Styles and the Cult of Celebrity, Identity, the Internet, and European Pop Culture. He's using the British singer to teach us about gender and sexuality, race, class, fashion, and more. By the way, this story got lots of attention in the US and England. It ran in People magazine, on CNN, NBC News, and the Daily Mail in London. Way to go, Dr. Valencia. If you're like me, you probably have some favorite podcasts.
I do, but I might have a new favorite after our next story.
It's a young Rottweiler, Ethan Hamilton here. Ow, ow, ow!
You're going to meet some podcast producers right here at Texas State. Plus,
as many family-friendly events and specifically for young kids.
Grab some popcorn. We'll show it screened at Movies Under the Stars this week in San Marcos.
and if you're used to taking the Bobcat shuttle to the quad, well, you can't right now. We'll tell you when it'll reopen in a few minutes.
First, they said cigarettes were safe. Now, they say they didn't market e-cigarettes to teens. Fact, more than 1 in 4 high school students are vaping. Same lies, different day. Tell Big Vape to quit lying.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
Hey Sam, have you listened to any podcasts recently?
Now that you mention it, I don't even know of any good local podcasts.
Well, don't worry. Reporter Marcus Thomas turns up the volume on some local podcasters.
With such a wide range of new media platforms and mediums popping up around the world, students here at Texas State University are starting to take advantage of the opportunities. MassComm students are starting to take the initiative and start their own podcasts and YouTube channels. In doing this, not only are they accelerating their careers, but they are getting the much needed experience before they even enter the field.
Kicking it with you, bro. Out of all the athletes I met, bro, you are ready to...
Nah, we're going to swing it to Texas State's very own Ethan Hamilton, who's going to tell us how he runs his podcast.
Welcome, guys, back to another episode of Our Recording. It's the young Rottweiler, Ethan Hamilton here. Ow, ow, ow! I'm a senior in mass communications and electronic media. Some people might have film, some people might have music, people might have like art, and this is kind of my medium that I fell in love with. It can go in so many different directions. Podcasting, like in its entirety, is long form media, and I think long form media is great because it values quality over quantity, in the sense of like it makes people actually stay longer to hear what you're saying because it's good.
You know what I'm saying?
And now we're going to hear from Texas State's very own Dr. Hoscom, who's going to tell us more about her podcasting experience.
Well, I was really interested in audio and podcasting, and I have a background in broadcast and TV, and I thought, I think I want to just try this. It's called Stories of Change and Creativity. I'm interested in how people are creative and how they embrace change. So put it together. So it's Stories of Change and Creativity.
Marcus Thomas, Bobcat Bulletin.
I need to check out some local podcasts. Those sound pretty entertaining.
Know what else is entertaining? Watching movies outside under the stars. Isaiah Gatlin has your ticket to the show.
If you're looking for family fun time, check out Movies in the Park, hosted by San Marcos Parks and Rec, every Tuesday in the summer. San Marcos Parks and Recreation is bringing family and friends together every Tuesday night this summer. Cub Scouts volunteer Ember Ledoux leads the troop in selling at the event's concession stand.
We are a volunteer Cub Scout organization. We are Cub Scout Pack 1954, and all of us are volunteers. Today we have our committee chair, we have the Cub Master, and we have parent volunteers who are helping out with selling concessions here at Movies in Your Park.
Parks and Recreation Youth Services Coordinator Casey Pittman says the parks are one of San Marcos' main attractions.
So I'm the Youth Services Coordinator, and we aim to just increase as many family-friendly events and specifically for young kids that we can just get them out, get them some experience more in the parks, doing things outside. So that's kind of where it all stems from, is how to enjoy your park the best.
The event is guaranteed fun for the entire family. Cub Scout Cristiano Bada prefers movies in the park versus at a theater.
It's more pretty because you get to watch the movie, but in movie theaters, you can only, you don't get to see the sky. But I like it outside because you get to see the stars and the movie.
Movies in Your Park is a summer tradition for San Marcos Parks and Recreation. Pittman feels the event is continuing to grow every week.
We're excited about Movies in Your Park. It's been kind of growing. I think last week at Bobcat Stadium was a really good turnout, and this week's another good turnout. So we just hope people keep coming. Movies in Your Park is 8 times throughout the summer, every summer, and every Tuesday. So yeah, hopefully people can come out more and enjoy it, and we can continue to grow. Grow the event.
It's great. For Bobcat Bulletin, I'm Isaiah Gatlin.
Just give me one more chance.
There's a bit of construction on campus you should know about because it's messing up how a lot of us get to campus for a few weeks. The bus stop at the quad, it's closed right now for construction. This is the one at the LBJ entrance off Sessom Drive, right by the English building. You can see the whole loop is getting repaved, so it'll be a nice new road surface. Transportation Services tells us it'll be reopened by the start of fall classes in a month. They seem pretty far along paving that already, so I'm sure it'll open on time.
Wow, those guys must be baking out there. Hope they're staying safe working in the sun.
Yeah, that's fair. That's all we have for this summer's edition of Bobcat Bulletin.
Thanks for joining us, and see you next week.